On this day, 10 years ago, which I still can't friggin' believe, 10 years ago, November 13th, 2005, we lost a wrestler who would end up being very influential when it comes to future wrestlers and fans, such as myself. Of course, I'm talking about Eddie Guerrero. And the outpour of support that him and his family got when he passed away 10 years ago was unbelievable. And it was also extremely shocking when it happened because he was still a member of the active roster. He was still in storylines. And to see a wrestler like him go was extremely shocking for us. Now, I was still a casual fan at the time, and I believe I saw Eddie had his feud with Rey Mysterio in that same year, earlier on. And this was just when there was a bit of tension between the two, leading up to their match at Judgment Day, which would all lead up until their ladder match at Survivor Series. No, not Survivor Series, SummerSlam, apologies. But I think one of the first moments I actually did see of Eddie Guerrero was when he wrestled Rey Mysterio in WCW. And I remember the match they had at Halloween Havoc 97, I believe. I believe it was 97. And Eddie was ripping Rey's mask, and Rey had like a full purple and black and silver bodysuit on. I don't know, he was trying to kind of be like the Phantom, the comic book character. But I remember Eddie being such a good heel and ripping at Rey's mask and everything, and just going extremely vicious at Rey Mysterio. And that was the great thing about Eddie Guerrero. He was so good at playing both a babyface as a heel. As a heel, you know, he would do some dastardly, horrible things, like with the whole Rey Mysterio storyline in 2005, the whole custody of Dominic thing, which is ridiculous when you think about it, but he could really get under your skin as a heel, you know, and trying to dastardly things like trying to get away with winning a match. But then when you go to the other side of things as a babyface, you couldn't help but cheer for him. He was an underdog, you know. He was not a guy the company looked as being a top prospect in an era where, you know, I'm talking about Ruthless Aggression, where they focused on big muscly guys like Triple H and Brock Lesnar and, you know, Goldberg when he came in, and all those guys, you know, and The Rock and Steve Austin. Well, Steve Austin wasn't really a muscly guy, known for his muscles or anything, but like The Rock and all these guys with these great physiques coming in during that Ruthless Aggression era around, you know, 2001 to when it ended in 2008, but I'm talking about during the time of Eddie's passing, before the hand. WWE had a lot of those big guys, but they also had a lot of smaller guys, some of the cruiserweights and pure wrestlers you would have seen in WCW, of course. Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio came, and he came into WWF as the Radicals. I'm changing subject here, but he came in with the Radicals, which is himself, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, and Perry Saturn. Four very solid, good wrestlers who came in at the same time and just put on really good wrestling matches. And the fans were attached to Eddie Guerrero when he was, you know, when he was with his nephew Chavo, and they formed Los Guerreros, and they won the tag team championships, and they would go after Team Angle, which is Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. I remember those storylines, and I just loved how, as a babyface, going back to that, Eddie just, you couldn't help but smile at his antics and what kind of mischief he was going to get up to and everything. Like when he was feuding with Big Show, I believe, for the United States title. He got like a septic tank and threw like shit all over him. And when he was feuding with Eddie Guerrero when he was feuding with Kurt Angle around WrestleMania 20 time in 2004, he was stealing all of his gold medals and having it up for auction and everything, and he just brought a smile to your face, and that's why I believe Eddie was so missed. And not only that, he was a fantastic professional wrestler. He could put on a great match just like that. You know, anytime him and Benoit got in, I mean, it was magic, you know. Like, if those two could get together, it would be amazing. Of course, his shining moment was at No Way Out 2004, which was the pay-per-view before WrestleMania 20, when he was wrestling Brock Lesnar for the championship. And he did his typical lie, cheat, and stealing tactic. He hit Brock over the head with the belt, did the frog splash, and he beat him to win the championship. And everyone was so happy for Eddie, because the WWE did not want to put the belt on a guy like Eddie, because he was small, he flipped around, he didn't have that look that Vince was searching for. That's why Triple H pretty much ran that entire era. Big muscles, in with Vince and all that, and that's why he won so many world titles. But this isn't about Triple H, it's about Eddie. So when people look back at moments when Eddie won the championship, and seeing that underdog finally get what he's been working so hard for his entire life, because Eddie loved the wrestling business. He worked there his entire life, pretty much, you know, as a teenager and working in AAA. And I remember he came to the States in ECW and wrestled Dean Malenko and all those guys, all those technical wrestlers. Yeah, I'm just spitballing a bunch of Eddie moments, but I didn't find out about Eddie's death. Didn't really hit me that hard because I was only very casual at the time. I did find out later on that he had passed away, and it was sad, but it didn't hit me as hard as like when I heard the whole Chris Benoit situation, but we'll save that for another video in the future. But when you really look back at it, it sucks to see that Eddie Guerrero is no longer with us, and it's nice to know that his memory is still with us, you know. Seeing Rey Mysterio win the title at WrestleMania 22, I know it was some shoddy storyline booking, Randy Orton saying heavens and Eddie's in hell and all that, it was fucking terrible, and just milking Eddie Guerrero's death. I don't promote any of that, but seeing Ray winning the title as a tribute to Eddie, okay, that was a cool moment. But yeah, and the tribute show they did for him the night after he passed away was very beautiful, and having all the wrestlers, you know, talk about, you know, how Eddie impacted on their lives and all that. And his legacy, it's still around today, man. Like Seth Rollins, who did a frog splash at SummerSlam. Wrestlers are still doing the frog splash, and it always reminds me of Eddie. And I know Chavo, he still pays tribute to him. He does the Three Amigos as a tribute to Eddie. And you know what? It's weird. I don't know what Eddie would be like if he was still with us. It's very weird. Would he be like one of the top stars in the company? Would he be wrestling for other promotions? Like, that's the thing. We never know, and we will never ever know. And he was inducted into the Hall of Fame posthumously in 2006. And when you really think about it, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years since Eddie Guerrero's passing. I still remember the days of 2005 when I was really little. So, you know what, seeing Eddie will never be forgotten. He will be remembered for an extremely long time. His in-ring work, his charisma, and his ability to make you smile is what people will remember for a very long time. thank you, Eddie. We still miss you. We still love you dearly. Thank you for everything you have done. Even though it was 10 years ago when we lost you, we still love, admire, and respect what you did in that ring for us. Thank you very much. Viva la Raza.